everyone, welcome back, and I hope you are safe and well today. Today we are making this lovely infinity square. It is one of our larger squares. We have this roughly 6 inches and they're roughly 12-inch squares each week, and this is one of the larger ones. This is a design by Aurora, Dragonfly Mom of 2. If you've joined us before, you will recognize the name. There are links for Aurora's pages and things in the description box below, so do check that out. And thank you to Aurora for allowing us to record this tutorial. So this square you're actually seeing on screen now is the one that I'm making with you in the tutorial, which will follow in a moment. This is the one I made beforehand. Let me move that one out. This is the one I made beforehand in a purpley colour with this pink border. This pink is the same one as I've used here. I ran out of yarn, so I had to use a different colour for the border. So this is our pattern. It is the infinity emblem, logo, whatever you want to call it. The middle section is very much like the solid granny square, and then we use some filet technique by using chain spaces to create the design. If I hold that up there, you can see the table through, and you can probably see the design a bit better. So that's what we're doing. It is all just double crochets and chains and slip stitches. So if you are, this is US terms, if you are used to UK terms, that is a treble in UK terms. So every stitch is either a in UK terms is either a treble, a chain, or a slip stitch, and in US terms it is a double crochet, chain, or slip stitch. And that's it. That is it, just that one stitch today. So whatever terms you're used to, you can just get on in there and make it along with us. So this is what we're making today. Let's get started. Round one then, we are going to start with a slip knot on our hook as usual, and then we're going to chain 4. Chain 4. Now this bottom chain will count in place of making a magic ring or a center ring, and then the 3 chains on top will count as a double crochet. Okay, so we're counting that as a double crochet. Now into this bottom chain you can go through 1 or 2 loops, whichever you prefer, and you're going to make 15 double crochets. 15 double crochets. Now that loop will get bigger as you go along. You can see it's already got bigger here, but you can just pull that in at the end and make it tighter. So we're just going to do those 15. I've already lost count. When you've done those 15 double crochets and you have that starting chain, you'll have 15 stitches all together. So I'm just going to pause the video, count my stitches, and work until I have the 16. There we go. Now, as I said, your centre may get quite big as you work. So what you need to do is pull your tail in to tighten that up. And there you go. You're going to slip stitch into the top of this chain. You just do your slip stitch into the top there. Get the right piece of yarn, and there we go. So we have 16 stitches. Now we're going to make this into a square. So what we're going to do is, in the same place that we did our slip stitch, we are going to do a chain 3. Now every chain 3 counts as a double crochet in this pattern. Okay, so do a chain 3 and then do a double crochet into that same place. We are making our first corner now, and then do a chain 1, and then in the same place make 2 more double crochets. There we go. It might not look much like a corner, but it is going to be a corner. And then we're going to do a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. The first one next to where you slip stitched is often a little tricky to work into, depending on how you do your slip stitch. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. And then in the next stitch we're going to make our next corner. So all in the same stitch, 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 more double crochet. So there, if I just show you this, you can see that it is starting. If you put your fingers in those chain 1s and just stretch them out slightly, you can see where we've got those 2 corners starting there. Okay, so you're going to repeat this around, 3 double crochet and then a corner, 3 double crochet, then a corner, and then your last 3 double crochet, and you want to slip stitch in the top of the chain 3. I'll see you at the end of the round. There we go, I've finished my round, and what you want to do to make sure this stays square as you work it is just pop your fingers into those corner spaces and just stretch them out slightly just to make it square, like so. There we go. How cute is that? Very cute. Now the next 2 rounds, if you're familiar with the solid granny square, the next 2 rounds are exactly the same. We're going to make 1 double crochet into each stitch along the side and do the corner in exactly the same way that you've been doing it. 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, but you'll be making that into the corner chain space now. Okay, so if you know how to do the solid granny square, then you can go ahead and you can skip to round 5. Okay, so have a look at the timestamps in the description below and skip to round 5 once you've made 2 more rounds of the solid granny square. Okay, if you need some help with doing this, the solid granny square as I just called it, then stay tuned and I will be showing you that in just a moment. So round 3, you have an option for this round. You can slip stitch into the next stitch and then slip stitch into the corner, but keep those slip stitches fairly loose because you're going to work into this next one on the next when you come round at the end of the round. Okay, or you can just work your chain 3 for your first stitch. You can work it here where you are, but that will give you a more visible join on the pattern. Okay, so it is better to go to the corner in a way. It disguises that chain 3 more. So just do a loose slip stitch into the next stitch, just nice and loosely, and then into the corner space do a slip stitch. Okay, and then we're going to excuse me, we're going to do the corner as we did previously. So chain 3 for your first double crochet and then make a double crochet, chain 1 and then 2 double crochet into that corner, and then every corner will be 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Okay, now we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of these 7 stitches along the side, 1 double crochet in each of those 7. There we go. So then you're back at the next corner in which you're going to do exactly the same as I said here. So 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and that's it all the way around until you get back to the beginning, and then just make a slip stitch in the top of your chain 3. I'll see you at the end of this round. There we go. That's the end of round 3, and it's looking a very cute square now. So we're going to move on to round 4. Round 4 is almost identical to the last round we just did, in that we're going to start where you are or slip stitch loosely to the corner. So I'm going to do that loose slip stitch, so into the corner, and then we're going to start our corner as before, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So as before, in every corner you're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet, and that's the same throughout the whole square, okay, every round. So just remember that. And then as before, we're going to make 1 stitch in every stitch along here, 1 double crochet. So you've now got 11 stitches here, okay, so 1 double crochet into every double crochet, and that's it for this round. So exactly the same, but now you've got 11 stitches along the side. I'll see you at the end of the round. And there we go, at the end of round 4. There we go. So you can slightly see here where we've got our chain 3s, and it does just sort of disguise them a bit more than if they were going up here. Okay, but that's your choice. So okay, let's move to round 5. So for round 5, I'm going to show you the way we're going to start every round from now on. Okay, every round starts exactly the same. So we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch from where we joined, and you are going to need to do this now because we all need to be starting in the corner. Because of the pattern that's going to emerge, we need to always start in the corner. We can't assume that we're going to have stitches in these 2 here. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch across to the corner, and then we're going to start our first corner with the chain 3, a double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 double crochet. And as I said before, every corner on every round will be exactly the same: 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to show you this first side and then leave you to do the rest. You'll be able to rewind the video and follow along with this side. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch here, and then do a double crochet in the next stitch, and then once more we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and do a double crochet in the next. So this gives us 2 spaces there. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches, so 6 double crochet. Oops. Okay, once you've done those 6 stitches, we're going to do the same as we did here on the other side. So chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in that last stitch. And then you're back to the corner. So I will just do that corner, 2 double crochet. Chain 1, 2 double crochet. Okay, so this is what we have for this round. Just pull these corners out slightly. So there you go. You can see we've got these gaps forming. I'll lift it up a bit. You can see we've got 2 spaces on each side there. So if you need a reminder of what to do on this round, just rewind about 3 minutes and then you can follow along what we do on the side and repeat that around these 3 sides, and then join to the beginning chain just as you normally would, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Here we go at the end of round 5. Just pulling my corners out. I like to do that on each round just so it keeps it square and not sort of bunching in. It helps when you get nearer the end and you don't have to try and square the whole thing up. There we go. So round 6, if you haven't already, you need to slip stitch over to the corner and then make your first corner. And then we'll get started on the side pattern. So there's our first corner, ready to go. So we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch and do a double crochet in the next stitch. And we're going to do it in the next 4 stitches as well. And in this case, this chain space counts as a stitch, okay? So we've done 1 and we want 5 in total. So that's 1. The next one into the space is 2. Then into the stitch is 3, into the space is 4, and into the next stitch is 5. So that's your 5 stitches. So remember, whenever we talk about stitches, your chain spaces will count as a stitch, and that's the same for all the rounds to go. Okay, so we've just done those 5, and then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 3 stitches. 2 and 3. And then chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet in the next 5. 1, the second one in the chain space, 3rd in the stitch, 4th in the chain space, and 5th in the next stitch. And then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and do a double crochet in the very last stitch of the side. There we go. So this is what we have. So we've got 1 gap at each end and then these 2 in the middle. Okay, so rewind about 2.5 minutes, or go to the timestamp below if you need to watch along again to do your other side. So remember, your corner is to come next, and then repeat this down this side. Here we go then at the end of round 6. So more of the pattern is emerging in these sides. We will see much more of it emerging as we continue. So if you haven't done your slip stitches across your corner, go ahead and do that now, and then we will get started on round 7. So we're going to do our corner first, as always. There we go, and we'll get started on the side. So for this round, we are going to do a double crochet in the first stitch along the side, and then we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and do a double crochet in the next stitch and the following 8 stitches. So remember, this chain space counts as 1, so we want 9 altogether. We've done this one, and then we're going to do 2, so number 2 in the chain space, number 3 in the stitch, number 4, number 5, number 6. Oops, try that one again. Number 7, number 8 is in the space, and number 9 in the stitch. And then we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and do a double crochet in this next stitch. And then we are going to, I've lost my place in the pattern. We're going to do it in the next 9 stitches, so including this one. This is our number 1, so 9 stitches altogether. Second one in the space, then 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8 is in the space, and then 9. And then we're going to do one more chain 1, skip the next stitch and do a double crochet in the last stitch. So there we go. And then you're back to your corner. So again, if you want to follow back along with what I did there, rewind about 2.5 minutes. I'll see you at the end of the round. Here we go at the end of my round 7. Just finding these corners to stretch out. It gets a bit harder as the square gets bigger. It's like, how far can your hands stretch? Can your fingers stretch that far? There we go. Looking lovely. Oh, camera's having a bit of a wobble there. There we go. I'll just hold it up so you can see a bit more of that pattern. So you can see it's coming up. And this will be where it crosses over and then comes round and back. So, lovely, lovely. It is time for round 8. So we've got 3 more rounds to go, 10 in total. So do your slip stitches and then do your corner, and then I will see you to do the side. So slip stitches and corner, and then I will meet you back here. Okie dokie, I have done my corner. So we're going to start round 8, well, going to start the side of round 8. So we're going to do a double crochet in the first 4 stitches. 4 double crochets. So the 4th double crochet will be into that chain space, okay? The 4th one into the chain space. And then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in the next stitch and in the next 5 along, so 6 in total. Okay, so 6 in total. Let me just check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So that's the stitch, the chain space, and then the next stitch. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in the next 6 stitches, just like we did at the other end. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So we're going to start with our chain space for the first stitch and the next 3, making 4 in total. And there we are, back at our corner. So as usual, do your corner, and then if you want to follow along with what I did here, then rewind the video about 2.5 minutes, or look at the timestamp below. See you soon. Here we go at the end of round 8. There we go. It's almost not fitting on my camera screen now. Gonna have to zoom out next time at the end of the round. There we go. So it's really forming nicely now. We just have some tops to put on these loops, so you can see where it's going to go. I've got these loopy bits. So go ahead, do your slip stitches and your corner, and then as before I will join you to do this next round for the side. So do your slip stitches and your corner, and I'll meet you to do the rest. Okay, so when you've got your corner done, your first corner of round 9, we're going to do the side stitches. So we're going to double crochet in the first 8 stitches. Remember, your chain space counts as a stitch, so 8 double crochets. And the 8th one there, and then after those 8 we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next, and one more time, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. So that will be in this space. Okay, and then we're going to do 4 double crochets along when my yarn isn't tangled. So 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4th one will be in this last in that space. There we go. And then we're going to do some more chains. So chain 1, skip a stitch and do a double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next, and one last time, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the last 7 stitches. So the chain space and these 6 stitches, 1 double crochet in each. Seven double crochets, and then you are back to your corner and you know what to do there. So rewind the video as always about 2.5 minutes, or use the timestamp in the description below, and I will see you at the end of the round. So here we go at the end of round 9. I've had to zoom out on my camera because it wouldn't fit on the screen. So here we go. This is actually the end of the infinity part of the pattern, because if you can see here, it goes round, and each side you've got that same infinity pattern going round. So there we go on each side. So round 10, as I said, is going to be slightly different. We're basically going to put an edge on this so that we don't have these open boxes, if you like, on the last round. So for round 10 we are going to do the corners in exactly the same way, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then you're just going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch along, remembering that these chain spaces count as a stitch. So that's 35 stitches along each side, and your corners. So I'm going to leave you to do that, and then I will join you back when I've done my last round. See you in a moment. There we go, the end of round 10, and how lovely does this look? So that final round just gives it a really nice border and shows off the infinity pattern that we've got going on. Love it, love it. So thank you once again to Aurora, Dragonfly Mom of 2. Remember, all her details and links are in the description box below. So do go and check out her designs, her patterns. And we will have some more of Aurora's designs coming as the year progresses. So I hope you've had fun doing this square with me today. nice and simple, just making sure you get the chain spaces in the right places. So if you are not part of our Facebook group, do go ahead and follow that link in the description below, and see all the other squares we've had this year so far. I can only video a few of the squares that we've been given permission to record due to copyright, so do go and have a look at the other squares that we've suggested for this year. And as always, it's great to see your photos in the group and see what colours you've used and how you've made your square, whether you've made it bigger or whether you've done any tweaks to it. So do go and have a look at our Facebook group. It would be great to have you join us over there. So that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.